So today we are going to start with a topic called state management, one of the most important topics of ASP.NET. First, we need to understand what is the need for state management here. Why do we need this? So, as we know that HTTP protocol is a stateless protocol. Stateless protocol. So let's see now that whenever browser makes a request to server, so what exactly will happen is server will process that request and generate the response. Process that request and generates the response. Once the response is rendered to browser, the server forgets every information about the browser or the client. Every information about the browser or what? Client. So simple point, you can say that server do not remember or server does not remember any information about the client. So now what is our point then? What is the role of state management? We have a point. As a developer of web server application, we need to take care and overcome this problem of HTTP protocol. So we have to actually ensure that the information provided by browser is reused in subsequent requests. And we are going to study around 6 to 7 mechanisms of state management techniques. 6 to 7. Now, in that 6 to 7, the first we are going to learn is static members in web form class. That would be our first topic we are going to study. Then we are going to study about view state. Then we are going to study about hidden field. Then query string. Then HTTP context. Then HTTP cookie. Then HTTP session state. Altogether 7 techniques. Static members in the web form class, view state, hidden field, query string, HTTP context, HTTP cookie, HTTP session state. These are our 7 techniques. Among all these, today we are going to study the first mechanism, that is about static member in web form class. So this is also, you can say, one way. I'm not saying this is the best way or this is the worst way. No, this is one technique I'm saying. It is used for sharing data between requests by any user. Any user. But its scope is what? Local to the web form. Its scope is local to the web form, in which it is declared. Okay, fine. Now we'll do one thing. First, fundamental. We'll have direct one's basic example, and in that we'll try to get to know what actually the process is happening. Then second example, I'll come up with first architecture. Then we'll see the example of static member. Two examples we'll see on this topic. And what is your aim? Subsequent request data should be available. Subsequent request data should be available. Okay, it means what? This should be a point actually. This should be a point. Say for example, if you ask me a query, if you ask me a query, so what is my job now? I should take that query as a request. Then I should process that request. And once once I find there is an answer for it, I should respond to it. And once after responding, then as a as a as a what you call as a server, what I do, I forget everything about you, like you, what request you made, what was the question you asked, what did I respond, to whom I respond, right, what I processed, everything I'll forget, because you are not the only one in the class now. I may have like hundreds of students in the class. In that hundreds of students, you raised one query, so definitely I may not be in a position to remember who asked, right? What I replied, right? Those all things. Imagine a case after some time you are asking me one more question. You're asking me one more question. So definitely I may not be in a position to answer for your next query because I don't remember your first query. I don't remember what I responded you. If I remember your first query's answer, then second query if you ask, then I can have a continuation of that answer. That is what the problem we have is HTTP protocol. So we want server to remember you. Server should continue your answer. Okay. So let's see two scenarios on this topic. Open Visual Studio. Then file, new, website. Website 20. Okay. Then add one web page. Add new item. Web form default.asp. Now, one is instance field. I'll put the data label, run at server, ID, LBL instance counter. Yes. Break line. Then static field, ASP colon label, run at server, ID equal to LBL static counter. Yes. Static field. Now, after that, what I do is go to code behind file, F7. Yes. Now here what you do, create fields, two fields. One is int I, which is considered to be your non-static field. Second, you create static int j, which is to be called your static field. Increment both of them, I plus j plus, and assign those values to those fields. LBL instance counter dot text is equal to I dot to string. LBL static counter dot text is equal to j dot to string. Yes. So one will not change value, one will change value. And in that also, focus is on static. Now, every time refresh. And even if I copy this path and open other browser, I open Chrome, paste that URL, enter, see the value, static field value, 31, 32, 34, 35, 36. Come back, refresh. It continues from there only. 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, last value. Go back, refresh. So it means what? Especially static related information, whatever we had, that is allowing us to take the data in continuation. One is being shared, one is not being shared. That makes a difference between static and instance speed. What was happening in instance speed? What was happening? Every time, whenever a request comes, it will assign value, it will increment value, that value it will assign to label per over. And after that, if you make any further changes, what will happen if you make any further changes? Obviously, that will not reflect for the second time, because second time when it comes, again it comes as new request. It comes as what? New request. So again new request will be processed, again new request output is generated, again it will respond to the client. But what about static? Since memory to static is allocated only for once. Okay, this is one scenario. Okay, now we are going to study one more scenario, same process, same, that you want to transfer the data from one server to, sorry, from one web page to another web page, and second web page should remember whatever data you submitted, and on that it should allow you to even process the information. So let's see then, how would you do that, right? Okay, before it, I'll come up with architecture first. Second scenario, architecture. Okay, open paintbrush. Exactly according to this only, we will develop an application exactly to this. So now in second example, what am I trying to do is, this is, okay, I'll just use here. Okay, state management through static members. Yes. Static members, state management one. Okay. Now, what is the approach you have? Is this is one web page. one web page. This is my URL. http://localhost:. default.asp. This is port number actually. Some number I'm giving. 1922. Some port number. Okay. Or shall I give exact? Okay. This is the port number. So this is a request being made from browser. Yes. Yes. Now, this is your web server. Web server. IIS Express. Then I have default.asp. Default.asp. So this is one more page. But this page will not have this ID. You'll have some different ID now. I'll copy that ID after seeing a demonstration. Now, what do we have in all these default.asps? You'll have this content. You'll have this content. Like what content you will have then? How do you manage it? Okay. So I just call EMP ID. Then EMP name. EMP salary. And you will have submit button. ID, name, salary. Three, what do you call, labels. Beside employee ID, you will have text box. Yes. Employee name. Employee. Three. And this is your submit button. Okay. And what are the IDs I gave? TXT EMP ID. TXT EMP name. TXT EMP salary. Okay. These are the IDs of each text box. Okay. txt emp id, txt emp name, txt emp set. Yes. Three labels, three text boxes, and beside each text box, you got its respective what do you call? What do you call? ID. Three IDs. Okay. Now I'm going to have one file named employees dot cs. I'll have this file, cs file. Okay. Yes. In this file, in this file, you will have three fields. Three fields. What are they? Static fields. Okay, static fields. What are the names of those fields? Right. One, e code, e name, e salary. Okay. Three fields: e code, e name, e salary. Now, what exactly you want to do is whenever you click on submit button, whenever you click on submit button, right? When you click on submit button, what do you want to do? Whatever the content we have in these three text boxes, you want to assign. So submit will go to that same web server. Okay. And then what happens is these text box values are assigned here. This is assigned to this. This is assigned to this. And this is assigned to this. Then what do you need? Yes, we want to have now again default 1.asp. Now I'll make a request. Yes, this time default 1.asp. Then here you are going to have again three things: ID, name, salary, and your labels. Then you will have each label with respective each content. You will have one respective assigned by label, I mean to say, each column. Okay. Yes. How many? Three. Yes, four labels. Now, what are the IDs of these labels? LBL, EID, LBL, EN, LBL, SAL, LBL, AN, SAL. Yes. This is LBL, EID, LBL, EN, LBL, AN, SAL. Yes. Now, what do you want to do when you ask for default.aspx? Yes. Now you assign this E code value to employee ID, E name value to EN, salary value to SAL. This is calculated value, right? So now you're going to ask for default to default one.aspx. So it will return to this, execute the code, returns the output. First time you made a request, and this is left to your choice that from either you in the same browser you change your file name and execute, or you have a link, hyperlink. Page 2 will have page 1 link, page 1 will have page 2 link. That you can have. Page 1 can have a link of page 2, page 2 will have a link of page 1. That you have to do, so that you don't need to use typing of those what do you call links, or be in some page, being in default.aspx, execute. If be in default one.aspx, execute the page. Link them, or but I have shown you executing, but you can link them also. That is also not. So let's proceed then. I simply will delete and I'll add a new one. Yes, add new one. Yes, default.aspx, default2.aspx. Yes, I asked you to add one employees class also. Okay, right click, add, right click, add ASP.NET folder, app code folder. In that, right click, add a class. Class name is employees. Okay. Create three static fields. public static EID. One field it is. Second, public static double ESAL. Yes, three fields we have. If you want to check what content you had, you can just open this and open that last. See that E code, E name, E salary we have. Okay, same thing will give that. E code, E name, E salary. Yes. E code, E name, E salary. Three fields. Yes. Default.asp. First comes label. ASP colon label. Run at server. Text equal to EMP ID. Yes. Close. Run at server. Text equal to EMP name. ASP colon text box. Run at server. Text equal to text by ID, not text, sorry. ID is equal to txt emp name. Sorry, emp ID. ID. Okay. This is for name. Okay. This is for label. Now here, text not required. ID. txt emp name. Break line. So now just go to design window and see. Yeah, ID name. Name should be next line. So I should keep break lines. Okay. Then exactly what you are looking for is what salary. Okay. And here what do you need? This is for EMP TXT EMP salary. Okay. Then you need a button. Button. Text equal to submit. ID equal to close. This is button. Button control. For what it is? For copying the data from text boxes to what? Static members, which I created in. So in the class in app code folder, whichever class file you created, to that we have static members and those data will be copied. That's what the story is. Okay, design part is over. Now, what is your aim? I said, what is your aim? Whenever you click on a submit button, you should copy the data now. Whenever you click, whenever you input data, should what exactly you want? Exactly, you want to copy the data. So go for it. Design window. Double click on the button. Why you got so close to this ID? Okay. TXT EMP ID. EMP name. EMP sir. Wow. Some error has come. Cha, 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 cha. Here I should give no. Yeah. Now it won't. Yes. ID name send. Then what exactly you're trying? Here in this class. Three fields are there. Name dot e code, ename, e salary. Fields. Okay, three values. Okay, three fields are there. Now you go to default2.asp. Acha, you want to link also, no? Forgot. E2 should have a link here. Okay. Solution Explorer, default2.asp. Okay, that will create a link with default2. Okay, first go to default1. Default2. Now here I write ASP colon label. I'll directly write EMP ID. ASP colon label run at server ID equal to LBL EMP ID. Yes. Break line. EMP name ASP colon label run at server ID equal to LBL EMP name. Break line. Third, EMP salary ASP colon label run at server ID LBL EMP salary. Then break line. Annual salary ASP colon label run at server LBL ANSAL. That is ID. Yes. Four four static text and four labels I placed. Go there and you can see that like this here. Now what do you need? Now you have to go to code behind file of default uh, where you have to write default 2.aspx code behind file. Okay. In page load event, assign the values. First, LBL EMP ID dot text is equal to e code employees class dot e code dot toString. Employees dot ename. LBL EMP salary dot text is equal to employees dot esalary dot toString. Annual salary. Okay, I have to calculate this. Double A sal equal to double dot pass LBL LBL AN salary multiplied by 12. And then A sal dot toString. Bus. And you want to have a link with page 1. So go to default.spx. Somewhere at the end, default only. Bus. That is the story of the static members. Execute them. Success. First default.is. ID 1001. Salary. Submit. Copied. Format exception. Okay, we did wrong logic then. Double A sal equal to double dot pass into 12 also. Into 12. Why we are getting error? Default dot. Let's try again. ID 1001. Ahmed 1900. So did you copy values? Default.aspx? You didn't copy, might be. Yeah, we didn't copy. Go to F7. Why we don't write in page load now? Oh, no. It's writing code. Double click on the submit button. Now you should assign employees.ecode is equal to employees.ecode is equal to int.parse txt emp id.text. txt emp name dot text. Then employees dot eSalary equal to double dot parse txt emp salary dot text. Okay, hope should work now. Go to default, run the code. Yeah, ID 1001, Ahmed 1890. Submit first. Yes, we got the values. Go to default again. Give fresh data. 1002. Rehan. Salary 2789. Submit. Copied. Yes. That's it. Fun state management technique we complete.